Hey y'all, Charlie B from Charlie B Company here in sunny Seguin, Texas. Well, we are coming into a time of year where it's going to get cold. We've got a big cold front coming into Texas this week. It's going to be in the 20s and teens in Fahrenheit, which is really cold for Texas. A lot of folks are asking me, hey, is there anything I need to do for my bees? Am I in trouble? I want to pop this hive, look at it real quick. It's warm enough right now. You can come in close, Chris. It's warm enough right now. It's like in the 60s. That we can open these bees. This hive does have an insulated lid. This is our Bee Smart system. We love this thing. They work really well. It's a two-part system. I really use these in Texas for heat, right? This works really well in summer, but it's kind of a little bit of an insurance for winter time. All right, so I will put my veil on. I do like to show off without equipment like the famous girl in Austin, but I don't really like getting stung in the face, so I'll put a veil on. I'm gonna go gloveless. Hopefully I don't get my hands stung up too much. These bees it's not an incredibly strong hive. I've seen with this hive, and if you look down here, I'll do the tilt test. I'm gonna lift this up. Pretty heavy. Right? It's nice. It's got a nice heft to it. So that's really what I'm looking for. As far as like, what can we do during cold and in a cold snap? I really urge folks, you don't have to do a lot for your bees. If you've got a critical mass of bees, as one of my mentors taught me, Mark Gretchen, if you've got a lot of bees and if you've got a lot of food, the bees are made for that. They're going to do just fine. The challenge becomes if they don't quite have all that they need. So we're going to kind of peek in here and see what they got. Like I said, this has not been a hugely strong colony. So I'm not expecting a ton, but they did have plenty of food on. So I want to make sure they still have a lot of food on up here. If you look up here, there's honey, right? This frame is honey. It's not incredibly heavy, but they're getting to it, right? They've been eating this up. That frame is empty, so there's no honey there. There's a little bit of nectar. These bees, they're going through this honey for sure. We get into situations in Texas where it's warm enough for them to fly, but there's not much for them to eat, right? So when it's in the 50s and 60s Fahrenheit during the day, they're going to get out of the hive and fly, use up energy, need food, and unfortunately, that means they're going to go through their stores. So this hive is definitely going through their stores. This has got a broken old frame. It's all right. So, and look how gentle these bees are. These are carniolans. Really love them. But they're all over that food and digging into it. So here's an empty frame, just an empty frame. Okay, so plenty of honey. This edge here looks like it's got a bunch of honey. I'm seeing plenty of bees. That's a good thing, right? And then you got a frame like that that's all honey. I might even just sneak that over into the middle a little more so that they have better access to it. So for a hive this size, not huge, they totally have plenty of food. So if I were really worried about these bees, I don't really need to feed them. I'll show you what I do if I don't think they have enough food. So I'm going to pop down into the bottom, see how they're doing. Here's their cluster, right? Their little winter cluster. Not much going on the edge here, right? Which is fine. I'm not even going to go into this because it's cool enough right now that I don't think I really want to mess with them too much, but I'll go to the edge and see how they're doing, right? There's our bees. We'll see a couple of frames. We're not going to see any babies or brood this time of year. Typically they go broodless. This hive was just recently treated with oxalic acid. So we vaporized this hive recently. And so I'm assuming their mite levels are low enough. Now I'm going deeper into it because I just can't help myself. I just get excited about the bees. I just like to see what they're doing. We'll do one more frame just to see what's going on in there. So there they are. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice, tight winter cluster, right? And they've got plenty of food around them. So what I'm going to do for these bees, just because I've annoyed them, is give them just a little touch of supplemental food, just to show you the kinds of things you can do with supplemental food. So this is a Hive Alive fondant product. This is designed to basically, you slit this open and you drop it right on top of the hive. This is a big pack. This is a 5-pound pack. They also sell 2-pound packs. So what I'm going to do is what I'll do with these big ones particularly is I'll just take a little bit out of it and spread it across a few different hives. It's just fondant. It's cake icing type thing, but it's designed for bees, and it's got all the good juju that Hive Alive puts into it, which is there's seaweed product, there's kind of stimulants for the bees to want to eat it. So what I'm going to do is take about that. We have mother load feeders in here. Mother load feeders are kind of recessed. So sometimes I'll even put just sugar, or I'll just put a little bit of this fondant. Maybe I'll even give them a little bonus on top, right on top of their cluster, right in here. But we got to make it so it's thin enough that the next box can fit on. So that's one strategy.
So something happened to my audio here, so I'll record voiceover talking about what we do in this next step. Now what I'm saying here is that basically if I don't have the space to fit that dry food, a sugar brick, or a fondant, I'm going to add a spacer called a shim, and this is just a 3/4 inch ripped pieces of wood, tack it together at the shape of the top of the hive or the hive space, and then that gives enough space so I can fit a large quantity of food, a sugar brick, fondant, or even mountain camp feeding, which is where you put just a piece of newspaper and lots of sugar and maybe even a little water. So there's all kinds of ways to feed bees midwinter. The ideal is that they already have all that they need and that you don't have to. In the case that they don't have enough, it's really important they've got enough feed to be able to stay active and to stay warm. So good luck everybody in this freeze. It's going to be a tough one, but hey, spring is coming. It'll be here soon.